fine. But okay. So I want to talk about the three games. So first off, if you guys haven't joined my Discord, uh, I can post a link in the uh, comments below. I just posted in the chat. I'm gonna start doing and playing more RPG Maker games that are old and new. Uh, in my Discord, Let's Play RPG Maker. I'm trying to promote published games, and part of that kind of motivation for devs to kind of finish their games is to shout out Game of the Month, where I play games that are submitted, as well as other games that have been published or near completed, and play them, give my thoughts on them, and I'll play a few every month. And the ones that I played for the month of June are these three. Um, I think it's Fadry, Bedber Game, Bedber Than the Rest, and Fadry is made by Lucy of Bohemia. Um, and I'll talk about each game and talk about which game won. Divini by um, KV Kingdom, and I'll talk about what I liked and whatnot. So, um, so let's go ahead and get started. So if you're interested, join the Discord. If you have a finished game, post it there, and I'll play them when I can. I'm already working on the July's game and whatnot. So I'll go over the first one. Let's go ahead and check out the trailer. So that one is Fadry, and it's a really good game. It's free to play. I definitely recommend checking it out. The Some of the maps are really well done, but there are plenty of maps that could use a lot of work. The game, as you can see, like in these screenshots, the opening scene was a, a negative for me. It didn't really draw me into the game, and there was long walks that we had to take without really knowing what directions to go, and it's just like one long path. So really, there's only like one or two ways to go. So you figure it out easy. But it was very long and drawn out, and I feel like that could be push away a lot of new players because they might just open it and immediately stop playing. I know the RPG Maker community is very rough with that kind of stuff. Um, I played this game for about 2 hours. I'm not sure exactly. I didn't complete it. Um, Overall, I think the story is the best thing for it. There was um, the music, the character design. There's a lot of RTP assets, which is fine because as long as placement's good and it works with the environment, it's good. There is the character designs are nice. There are some characters that are repeated with different names. Overall, I gave this game a 6 out of 10, and um, I think even a 6 out of 10, I think it's still fairly worth playing. I felt like the story was really well done. One of the biggest drawbacks in this game, I felt, was the game progression because of the side quests. the side quests really drew away from the main quests, which all the questing that you do felt like side quests and really didn't seem like it was pushing the main story. Um, there was a lot of the times like I didn't know what to do, and I had to talk to like every NPC to eventually find the right NPC that told me, "Hey, go do XYZ." I did XYZ, and then I was able to continue on to the next quest and to the next quest. But it was like I had to go back and forth. I had to talk to multiple NPCs multiple times because talking to one NPC unlocked new dialogue to another NPC. So I felt like that was a bit of a drawback. And you could talk to like 80% of the NPCs and they all had like dialogue, which is really cool. But the other 20% all of a sudden wouldn't tell you anything. And then there was dialogue options for, 60-70% of the NPCs that meant nothing. Um, so there was a few drawbacks there in the gameplay. I felt like I really want to finish the game because there's more story to it, but I felt even for the 2 hours that I played, uh, the story didn't progress enough, and the game didn't progress enough because I was so busy trying to talk to find the right NPCs. So, um, so for that, let's see. The next game that I played was called Bedber Game, and I believe they have a YouTube video. I'll play this here. Honestly, right there is a better trailer. Um, I felt that this game, did not get to play too long of this game because I got to play an hour of it, and then my save file did not move over. For some reason, I got lost. I'm not sure why. When I opened it up the next time to play some more, but I was able to get enough of information, like playing. And I actually started playing twice to try to catch up, but didn't have time to really get much further in the game. Um, but the story progression, the game progression is real quick, and the game's very quirky. Um, there's a lot of weird stuff happening. It's more of an adult game. There's a lot of swearing in it, and there's so much uh, to look at, to do. The style, the characters in the battles are all great. They all match. So the art style is definitely really good. Um, the music matches the battle styles really cool. Uh, the story is weird and quirky, but that matches everything. Um, the mapping could have been better in some areas because some areas it was very sparse with items on it, you know, but other areas were very populated. But I would say overall the art style was meant to have a very sparse, empty-looking mapping, and most of the time it matched that. Um, and the dialogue is definitely where this game wins. Um, the way the characters talk to each other, the dialogue written there is so natural and fluid. I gotta give props to the developer here. Um, Overall, I give the game a 7 out of 10, uh, and probably like 7.5. And really, it could just improve in some areas with like the battle styles. Um, the progression of the game could be a little bit better. The mapping could be a little bit better to make it more consistent. And it's not a complete game as well. I feel like it was going to be a little bit short. The quirkiness and things like that sometimes hit right, but other times they kind of like fall short and they just seem rude. But it's Bender, right? So they're supposed to go off that way, and so it's definitely probably a smaller crowd of people would play this game. There's a lot. It immediately it throws everything at your face right away. So either you're gonna play it and like it, or you're just gonna drop the game immediately because it's just uh, rude and aggressive language in your face the entire time. Uh, some of the other improvements I would say, the music I think is good, but it's not. Uh, there was like very repetitive. I think in most places. The I think yeah, the dialogue is where it hits best. The story, I would say, I couldn't really tell where it was going, other than that this guy really hates Wendy's, and so that's like an easy, simple mechanic to play off of. It's like for some reason he ate a bad burger at Wendy's. It was the garbage burger, and now he must destroy all the Wendy's. So that's the premise, and so it's a very simple concept, but why you meet some characters or where these characters come from, might be able to learn it more further on later on. So overall, I think they did a really good job with sticking with the style of the game. And so I have to give it like a 7.5 um, out of 10 because they did pretty good job. Um, so the last game is Divini, and I don't recommend playing it in the web browser. It does not play well, does not work. So download the game. I did play this game like an hour and a half, and it did not seem like I got through it too much. I'm not sure if they have a trailer. I don't think there is a trailer. But we can take a look at some of these screenshots. Um, so here, this game, I really like this game too. And uh, hey, Sums, what's up? Welcome to the chat. How's it going? Just talking about these 3 games I played for the game of the month, which I'm going to try to do in my Discord. So if you haven't joined my Discord, check it out. So this game, I really liked where the story was going. And sorry, I'm drawing a blank on like this game. And this was the last game I played. I just played it like last week, and I'm totally drawing a blank on it. Okay. So with this game, I felt you had to. You start out in the castle. There's like, hey, you got to go join a guild of some kind. There's a warriors guild, a mage guild, a couple other ones, and but then it just like shots you off into quests. Hey, go do this, go do that, and it's like, well, I thought I was supposed to do this, and the battles kind of threw me off, and the story kind of threw me off as well because there was lore happening that I felt like, why do I need to know this now? I think so. For story wise, I feel like the flow could have been much better. It was okay, but it could have been better. The um, mapping was okay. It was very big maps overall. So I have a Kraken headset with mic. Need OBS for Discord? No. Not yet. I'm gonna play an ad real quick because that thing's gonna pop up real quick as I continue talking about this. The what's it called? Um, so the story was okay. I feel like story-wise it's there, but the story progression and story flow was not that great. The um oh, you're asking for the link to the Discord. There you go. Um so yeah, so for story, I think it could have flowed better. There was a lot of NPCs, and a lot of random NPCs were giving you not great information and a lot of information, right? So that could have been broken out a little bit better, because it's like, oh, who's this dark force that's coming after us? What do the guilds mean? And you would have talked to multiple people, but why couldn't you just go to the guilds and ask the guilds that? Because then it was repeated information from multiple people in whatnot. But I feel like they could have flowed a bit better. Um, there are the mapping was okay overall. It could have been much better. Um, there were some mapping bugs where I could go through some walls and I can go on top of some items. Um, but that's not too bad. The designs were okay, and it's all, I think, RTP assets, which again is fine. But there's some flair that could have been used in the mapping. You can see in this map, it's very open. Some people, there's some school that they're learning, so it's not bad. There's definitely story here. Um, but I think adding more elements to, like, scuff marks to the floor, some burn marks. These are mages. They're failing. Are they going to try practice magic here and there? Maybe there's some uh, fire marks, burn marks, uh, beat up things, some things broken, whatnot. So it's like very clean, things like that. Um, when it comes to the battles, I felt like it was very easy, and this is what all most of the games I've played have problem with. They're very generic battle systems, and that was the same issue with the Bedber game. It was a very generic battle system. Art was cool, and same with this. The art's cool, the animation's cool. There's a lot going on, but the animation or the battles were just very generic. And how you can like flare that up is just by adding combo attacks, uh, maybe different style, time-based attacks. Um, my issue with RPG Maker has always been this: is everyone jumps at the battle systems, but the only way to improve that is through the plugins. Which, what can you do other than just use a plugin to make cooler battles? So definitely take a look into some different battle styles and plugins to improve the UI elements and the um, what's it called, the or event it. Yeah, I've never tried to event a what's it called, the battles. So, and what's up, Code Mora? I actually have my notes here. Let me go to uh, I forget. Let me see. I don't want anyone to look at my emails. I'm just gonna hide this off a little bit so I can open up my documents. Because I wrote a whole bunch of notes on here. Um, this game I gave a 5 out of 10. Um, I think the character designs were generic, but that's okay. The RTPs, like I would just say, try to add some custom artwork in there, really make the characters unique looking, and because I think some characters you could just see all the repeated artwork again and again. Um, The mapping, um, I think overall was good. I know I was complaining. It's like, okay, it could have been better. But I think out of all the 3 games that I played, this one had the best mapping for sure. And so like what you can do is like add flare um, with plugins, lighting effects and things like that. But this is like where a lot of maps fail is in lighting and shadows. Um, Sounds I thought were very just the general sounds, generic sounds for RTP. The placements were okay. Um, really invent sounds and things like that. Dead Wolf, what's up? What's up? Invented battle systems are often ignored. Yeah. Yeah, I think I'm going to start doing tutorials on that stuff once I get into it and once I have time. Um, I think the best thing that this game had going for it has to be the mapping and the story design. Um, Story and storytelling. Although the storytelling could be much better and the progression could be better, I think the lore and dialogue needs to be spoken about a little bit more and kind of divvied up a little bit better. I think so. Overall, I gave this game a 5 out of 10, but it probably had the best mapping, I think, out of all 3 games that I played. But I gotta say, the winner was, yeah. So this is kind of like a bad example of like some of the maps. There were better maps that it had, but the overworld map was probably was not great. Um, in my opinion, it could have. It was very uh, generic looking. There was no real features to it, and there was some areas that I would walk into that I didn't know where to go. And again, it goes into the gameplay progression and the story progression. I was like, I just like walked around the map, the overview map, and I didn't know. So the game that I picked was Bedber Game. And there they are, Bedber, and overall, definitely check out this previous section, Bedber. I rated your game a 7 out of 10, and mostly because of the style that was picked and how well you stuck to your style, right? It's a very weird and quirky game. The battles led into that weird quirkiness. The story definitely and the dialogue definitely hit on the nail. Um, that's definitely where this game wins at. I think the other 2 games are really good. I really like the story of Fadry. Uh, I think that's how you say it, and of Divini. But overall winner, congratulations to Bedber. The If you guys like quirky, weird games, definitely check this game out. I think they're still working on it, but and welcome to the chat. You said code more. What did you say? Smaller maps would help. Yeah, smaller maps, more defined maps definitely would help. Thanks for the follow, Bedber. Um, and I feel like, but I think Bedber's game does a really good job of that. We can check out their gameplay, and we can look at some of these maps. Um, there is the sorry for some spoilers. I'm trying to find like where one of the maps is because some of the maps are very open, and but it makes sense because this game's kind of style it's stuck in that style, right, of being very simple. And so there's not much here, but the style sticks in every room very often. Or something from game would have. If possible, some speeds or something from game would have been nice. What do you mean? Oh, from like the game playthrough? Yeah, I just don't have time to like record all this stuff. Um, That's why like I wrote my notes down to kind of like help me remember. But I think for the July game of the month, I'm gonna be as I play, I'm gonna take screenshots, and because this is the first time I've done this one, but I think Bedber's Game is very open, and it does like a lot of stuff that will help the dialogue and help the story, and it's definitely strong point is story and dialogue. Um, the mapping looks real nice too, even though it's repeated, but it stays consistent with all that stuff. All this repetition it happens in all the houses that you can go into, all the places you go into, buildings. It's its consistency is definitely really well done. So yeah, that's why like this is kind of like half-assed, but like I wanted to do a full video, but this is all I'm able to do. So I'll probably try to take screenshots of everything and make a better video, but I can't guarantee how well it will be. Repetition, repetition has its pros and cons, for sure. Um, but I'm already starting to play some of these games. I need to get back to Fenrir's Prelude. Um, I'm gonna try to play all these games at least an hour or two. Um, I would like to finish Fadry because I'm interested in the story. And Divini has a story, but it's very slow pace, so it's hard to bring myself back to this. So I think the devs could fix story progression because story progression is very important. Oh, thank you. Oh, you're talking about Bedber for the custom art. Yeah. Um, definitely can't go commercial with it. It's definitely takes a lot of art from different places. But the next games I'll be playing are Axial, um, Fenris Prelude, A Day Without Oob, which some people might have played before, and same thing with Fenris. Um, Slime Rule, we'll see. I just bought this game. It was on sale, and it's I'm trying to get brand new games, try to play brand new games for this as well. At least one. It's hard to keep up with itch for sure. Yeah, updated. Yeah, because I think the battle mechanics, the battles for Bedber's Game is probably one of its weaker points for sure. Um, so I think improving the battle systems, but so many RPG Maker games have um, generic battle systems, and it's just easier,